And if we move on to Everton and 777, now there was a report that came out, Keith, that revealed that they have a total debt of, well, supposedly a few billion pounds or a few $1 billion, I should say, to creditors for 2023. Is that a real concern, and actually that they will not be able to fund Everton?
Yeah, I saw that report that they said, I think it was 3.6 billion was the amount of debt they had when they lodged the takeover bid for Everton. That's a big number and very concerning. And it's a lot of noise has gone on around this in terms of media reports about issues around the funding around 777. The Financial Times reported even this morning that they felt that the funding was unraveling. In one lawsuit, 777 were described as a house of cards. Of course, those reports are, concerning. 777 continue to state their case that they are going to be okay, they're going to get approved. But the noise around this is unlike anything I've ever seen in terms of any other takeover bid for any other club. Is it, no smoke without fire? Well, 777 say yes, it is, and that there's an answer for everything that's being reported, and they're claiming vested interests are behind it all. It's very hard to take that at face value when you're seeing these reports, and really skilled financial journalists are now digging into this, particularly in the complex areas of the reinsurance market in Bermuda, which I'm not an expert on, but from what I've been able to read and understand, there do appear to be structural issues in terms of the finance for 777. So they're still maintaining that they're going to get it and be approved. And I know the Premier League will be very worried that if they do reject them, that they've got to have really strong grounds to do it. Otherwise, a company like 777, who are quite litigious, would certainly resort again to legal means. And you'd have another legal battle on another issue in the Premier League and in the football world. Ridiculous.
If it doesn't go through, what's the emotion towards 777 in the Premier League? Is it actually one of, are you disappointed with 777? Is it disappointment towards the Premier League for letting it drag on so long? Where would fans lie in that sense?
Certainly for letting it drag on so long. That has been another cloud hanging over Everton, and it's definitely affected things in many, many ways. There's been a complete vacuum of leadership at the top, while, with the previous board had all resigned or they've been got rid of. And so we got an interim chief executive there. It's just been lack of leadership at the top. And that's because of the time this has taken, and that really has affected the club. So that's one big thing is the time. But also, I think, look, every company like a 777 is entitled to try and make an offer for a club. And so the present owner, Moshiri, does have a duty of due diligence here, I think, to actually check them out as potential owners and buyers. And I think there should have been a lot more done in that case. But also, I mean, I've got to say that, it's been over 6 months now, I think, that they've been working on this deal. A lot has changed in their own world at this time, but I think a lot is incumbent on Moshiri to do a lot more work. And as facts change, maybe he has to change his opinion and he has to stop the agreement as well. Of course, they're now into the complex area of having lent Everton a large amount of money. That also factors in now as well. So overall, I would say the owners, Moshiri has got a lot to answer for, and the Premier League in terms of the length of time. So both of those are big issues for them.
I mean, what do you think, Keith, Moshiri has been thinking throughout all of this? I mean, will he have any thoughts at all? Because, of course, at the end of the day, he still owns the club. That's the fact of the matter, isn't it?
It is the fact of the matter he has. He's also built up a large amount of debt. And, it's, look, for as much as I have sympathy with the way the points has been handled, I don't have a lot of sympathy for the way that he's managed the club overall. And where we are right now is a big problem. And basically we're saying that he believes that 777 are fit and proper owners himself. And so that's a big issue.
And where do the club go from here? Are you expecting, I know you've said before, you're expecting someone to come in and effectively hijack the deal. Is that now most likely, do you think?
As I've always said, it's difficult to know without understanding the actual debt structure and the situation with the money that 777 have lent and any other debt that has been incurred by the club. We can have an idea from the outside, but we don't know the real detail and the internal workings and wordage around those deals. So that's important. But I do believe that there are still people looking from the outside. I don't think they can actually engage because there's still 777 would probably be in exclusivity still until the Premier League make a decision. So while people may talk about it or give hints or feed journalists different stories, we won't know until 7-7 are rejected whether anybody's going to step forward or not. We've got to hope that there is somebody there that will do it, though, if they are rejected.
Do you think, Keith, this sort of takeover, whether it does or doesn't go through, actually should highlight to the Premier League and actually to other clubs that there needs to be more transparency for fans and journalists alike through this process, so actually people understand what is going on with their football club?
Yeah, I think the way around that has got to be, again, we've got to find some sort of solution for having a bond system. I've always talked about this in terms of, travel agents have bonds so that if they go bust, then people still get their holidays, etc. Now, on a much bigger scale, there's got to be a way for a potential buyer to be able to post a bond to satisfy the financial situations and the forward needs and revenues of a club. So it would be quite a complex structure, but I think it could be done. And particularly as you're looking at Premier League clubs, it would go into significant amounts. But there must be a way to handle a bond structure. Now, that would give everybody a lot more comfort and be able to move forward. Journalists would always have the right and should have the right, of course, to be able to go back into people's histories and see what sort of owners they can make. Every fan has a duty to understand that and to really do their own research as well. But certainly, I think the financial side could be done a lot easier if there was a bonding system in place, and that's what I'd hope to advocate.